Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this Friday morning. We got a great show lined up, a fishing forecast. We're going to give away some seafood from Tarpon Dock. But first, our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. I like these numbers: high 84, low 74, water temperature 84. 84, 74, 84. So everything pretty well shaped up. You know, we talk about it every morning this week about these afternoon thunderstorms coming in. They're really strong. Just seems to be really strong this part of the summer. So just be aware of them as you're going into Labor Day weekend. Also be aware of all the boating traffic. If you're in line, you know, make sure you put all the stuff in the boat ahead of time. Don't wait till you launch your boat and start putting stuff in the boat. All those little things like that make the outdoors a little more enjoyable for everyone. River readings, looking at Apalachicola at Bluntstown, 4.9, and a little bit of a drop to it. And now looking at the Choctawhatchee at Careville, it's at a 4.3. Both rivers in excellent shape for some Labor Day freshwater fishing. Keep that in mind. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Again, neap tides. One more day of neap tides. Now tomorrow we're going to get a little bit of morning tide, and all next week we're going to have some really strong tides. And the marine forecast, east southeast at about 5 to 7. All right, let's take a break and we'll be right back with our guest. Welcome back, folks, and welcome to our guest this Friday morning, Mike Hobbs. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning.
Glad to have you.
We're glad to be here.
Watson Landing Marina, he's a consummate outdoorsman himself, and they got a great business down there. And the Hobbs family, Mike, real quick, let's go back. The Hobbs family came down here when?
In the early 1800s, they settled up at Econfiner Creek and migrated down here, and part of them got in the fishing business, some of them in the land business, and it was a pretty big family.
They spread out, and they got a great heritage as far as being the very early settlers along the Econfiner area and all, and a lot of them love the outdoors.
They all like the outdoors.
They really do.
They made a living from it for years.
They have, and we go back to Emery Gay Hobbs, Bobo Hobbs, Bill Ellis, the Ellisor family, and just so many of them. You go on and all. So you're in the business now. Of course, you enjoy hunting, but you got hunting season coming up.
Yes, we like to hunt. We got a hunting place up south of Vernon. We got about 1,200 acres. We go up there here in about another month. We'll move up there and start hunting it and entertaining on the farm. And
get serious about it.
Get serious.
Well, meanwhile, you spend your summer at Watson Landing Marina. And you've really done a fascinating job. Y'all seen the commercial and all, how good it looks and all. And we were down the other day. You were gracious enough to host the Seasons of Hope tournament, hosted right there at your place with Michael Harris and all those volunteers, and that was an enjoyable time.
That was a good time. We had a good crowd. I think there's 57 entries in it, and they had quite a bit of activity, and all of them, they had a good time. We had the bar open where they could buy some beer when they were waiting for the older ones, and had a nice weigh-in, a nice crowd. We was real proud of it. In addition, last year we added 27 new wet slips. So we've got boats we can put in. If we got 30 or 40 boats out at one time, they all come in at once. We got a place to tie them up while we're launching them, while we're getting them out of the water and rinsing them off and putting them back in the barn. So that's quite a little bit of expansion. Along with, we got 30 lockers down there for our long-term clients that come in, put the rods and reels and coolers and so forth in for the yearly lease people that are interested. For a small fee, they get a locker to go with it.
So those lockers will go along with the whole rental thing.
Yes, sir. The lockers go along with it.
That's a good idea. And we were down there. I had it on the video when I showed the registration about your lift, setting a boat down in there and all. Yes. It doesn't take long to get one out there, does it?
No, it doesn't take too long. About 5-10 minutes per cycle on the average 25, 26 footers. Now, your 30 footers take a little bit longer. You have to be a little bit more careful because they are heavier. Yeah. But we're in the process of getting a larger lift where we can handle up to 34 footers.
Yeah.
But we'll have that next spring, hopefully.
Well, what's cool, I saw, in fact, you had what I call smaller boats compared to those 30 footers. You had some 20-something footers and all. And Bill Kinsall came down there after work and had the boat sit in. They were just gonna ride out to the island in the back, and that was convenient for him.
Yeah, he likes to do sunset cruises. It doesn't take but a minute. You got to call us, give us about 5 minutes, and we can have your boat in the water, and you can be ready to go. If you come back after we're closed, you tie it to the dock, and we'll put it in the water, get it out of the water, and rinse it out and flush it out the next day. If you really want to leave late, tell us, and we'll leave the key in it and have it cranked up, ready for you to go, fueled up, and ready to go later in the afternoon.
And Watson Landing is such a great location. Let's look at some of we got some of the winners from last week. Some of these pictures right there. Let's go ahead on my Season of Hope tournament. We got right here the trash fish was a sail cat, a 3-pound sail cat. Okay, that was a winner there. And then right here, the most spots. That's the most spots on that redfish there. But you can see the little tiki bar in the background, then the building in the background, and then that kid here with the fish. So everybody was helping out so much. It was 3 or 4, I think 4 pounds won it.
I think so.
Yeah.
4-pound trout.
Yeah. People always ask me, where did the name Watson's Bayou come from? Watson was one of the original guys came down here in the 1830s from Jackson County. He bought all the land, or he acquired all the land between the two Hathaway Bridge and DuPont Bridge, and they did the first cut of timber in the late 1830s and all, and they were right there at the land, close to where your place is now, and that's the history of that place. And they did that virgin cut right there, and all that lumber went up to the houses in Philadelphia and Boston and those places.
And a railroad ran right down to the waterfront.
Right.
Actually, the sawmill used to be right within 200 yards of where the marina is.
Is that where it was? About 200 yards?
Yeah.
Okay, I knew it was in that area somewhere.
We dug up some deadhead stumps, deadhead logs in there when we were first doing the marina back in the 80s.
Did you really?
Yeah, so I mean, it was some 100-year-old stuff been buried up in the mud.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. You were right there at ground zero as far as the earliest settlers, as far as cutting it, and wow, that's interesting. All right, let's take our break. We'll be right back with Mike. Okay, welcome back. So the marina down there at Watson Landing is just a fabulous place, and it's right there, like we're talking about historically, it's right there where so much of our history is going on. And it's been a good year catching fish all over. What about the catches down there?
Well, during snapper season, we had a number of boats that go out every day that they could fish, and when the weather permitted, and they all limited out. So they had a real good snapper year during the season, and now they're the same grouper fishing and scamp fishing, and they're doing quite well with it when the weather permits.
Yeah. And do you have, out of how many all those slips there? You said about 70 or 80% full.
Yeah, we're right at 65%.
Right there, and all except for that top road. We showed that video the other day and all. The people, a lot of folks coming in from out of town or local?
A lot of people coming in from out of town, putting their boat in for the summer. Mm-hmm. Some of them are putting them in all year, and there's a little bit better break when you do a year's contract than you do just for a monthly. But we welcome both. Yeah. Whatever the client wants is whatever we try to provide. No, we do flush the boats and rinse them out and keep them clean while they're in the warehouse, so they're nice and safe and tucked in when the people are not in town. Yeah.
I'm going to show you on the video on Google Earth right here. This is down right here. I'll keep everything center screen. Of course, right there in the center, there's the downtown marina. Y'all know where that is, in the Harrison Avenue. That little bayou next to it now, I'm just want to identify. It's Massalina Bayou, and Hawk Massalina came over from Redfish Point in the lower left-hand corner. Then the next bayou over, which is a big one, that's why they chose that bayou when they did the early logging. You'll see that's Watson's Bayou. Okay, it's right across sort of from Tyndall. It comes out there halfway, but zoom on in, and you can see right here in the center of the screen, there's the landing right there and all. And the railroad track, you said it came down right close to where y'all were?
Yeah, it went right straight down Sherman Avenue.
Yeah, right down Sherman Avenue.
Yeah, that's down on all the bay. There used to be a Gulf oil terminal down there on the bayou down there.
That is so interesting. Anyway, here's a big building. You got a good piece of land right here, and any future development? Or you just going to?
We're working with some engineers right now on the piece next door to us, which we own, and we've got plans on doing I don't know exactly what we're going to do right now, but in the meantime, we're using it for overflow parking. It added 50 spaces of overflow parking for us. So we got plenty of parking and plenty of slips to put boats in when we do have a big crowd. And we make these facilities available for parties, weddings, and so forth. We've had 2 or 3 down there this year already, and everybody's been quite pleased with the way it's handled. It's laid out for a party and entertainment. The tiki hut and the landing down.
You know, I hadn't thought about that until you started when I was down there last Friday and talking about that is a great location for people to do that kind of stuff. It really is. They just touch base with you. I know online I saw your phone number and all that. You just call down there and make appointments.
Just call down there on the number. We got the website, and I talked to the dock master. We've got a new dock master. His name's Cody Clark.
Cody Clark.
He's a real nice kid, and he hustles. In other words, he goes bends over backwards to take care of the customers. And everybody really seems to like him.
I know Cody Clark, and he is a fine young man. And when he said he'd been over backwards to help you, he'll just do anything with a big smile too.
Sure will.
He really, really is. And right there, people, you have a boat launch there? Or
no, we don't launch.
Do that.
The launching part is people usually go down to church and launch, and then you bring your boat by the water, and it's easier to handle. We try not to deal with the trailers.
Yeah.
We put a few up to start with in the very beginning, but we're out of space for trailers, so we just boats only is what we're trying to do.
Let's go back up there. We're talking about, your family had Hobbs pasture, and people don't realize how big Hobbs pasture was when it came. We settled in the Econfina area, then it came down. Hobbs pasture started about where the Deer Point Dam is, right? Tell us about it.
It was pretty big. It was a large area. That was my Uncle Ole. He was one of the original brothers that came down.
Right here on the west side of Deer Point Lake, one of the whole areas, and see, the Econfina came into there, so.
Econfina, the pasture was part of the Springs, if I remember right, or pretty close to it. It was when I was just a kid. Now the other uncle, he got down here and got in the fishing business, Uncle M, which was the father of Embrigay, which was later our dock master for this area.
Yeah, Embrigay Hobbs.
And then Bobo, he's been fishing forever. He's still out fishing.
He's the oldest captain in Florida. Oldest license now.
He knows how to go get them, too.
I try to fish him once a year. By the way, we got fall fishing coming up, and Bobo, I know some of you folks are watching. We need to set up us a fall trip on your boat and all, the head boat and all. I just love going with him, listening to him talk about old times.
Yeah, he's quite a character.
He is a character. Now, speaking of fall coming up, we want to talk about your hunting coming up now. You got stands and all, food plots and everything?
We got 1,100 acres up in between Vernon and New Hope that we hunt and basically let family in there and trying to get 8 points and above on the deer, and we've been developing the turkeys and we got some few wood ducks come in there certain times of the year, so we'll be getting a big family deal going on. We got a camping facilities out there also for our family and their guests.
Oh, good.
So it's quite a big campsite and party when we do get cranked off, which is going to be probably in another month.
Yeah. So I guess everybody just enjoys that. We talk about family doing things together and outdoors, and they're a great example of it. Y'all been in marine construction and all kind of?
Yeah, I've been in marine construction basically since the 70s.
Yeah.
So we know the water and know how to work on the water and deal with it.
Y'all built some big places, hadn't you? Y'all worked on some big places.
Yeah, I've worked on quite a few larger projects and worked in the Bahamas and worked in Puerto Rico and down in Cuba.
Yeah.
But I'm not associated with the construction anymore. I'm just strictly doing the marine. Families.
You're doing the fun part now.
I'm doing the fun part.
Let him do all the work now. Yeah. When you're back on those trips, and I was wondering, were you able to get out like you went to Cuba and all? Were you able to ever get out doing the fishing and everything? Or could you ever do much of that in other places?
we went and fished the Hemingway tournament about three years ago.
Cool.
Myself, Michael, and Clayton Seifert, and I think there was a couple of other hands.
Wow.
Went over there and fished it. Went in the yacht club where Hemingway used to hang out.
Wow.
So it was kind of a neat experience.
I
Out there and
bet.
fished it 3 or 4 days, and we got out and rode around town a little bit and got a guide. So
Yeah.
it was quite an interesting place.
I've heard, never been there, but heard it was just a really fascinating place.
Yeah.
I mean, some great fishing.
Yeah, the sooner they can open that up, I think the sportsmen will be pleased.
I try, you know, there's a list of us wanting, you know, on the list wanting to go, and once they do open up for fishing and all, I would love to get that done too. All right, we got to move on. We got a fishing report coming up. Before we get to that, I want to let Mike draw 2 names out of here. This will be for Tarpon Dock Seafood, a giveaway, which is Tarpon Dock right down the road, right down the water from you, and got a lot of history in there. Okay, draw 1 name out of there, Mike. It's going to be for the $20 gift certificate at Tarpon Dock. Who's that winner there? So flip it over on the other side. That's going to be Ned Maxwell, one of our loyal viewers. All right, now for the Big Red Snapper, draw 1 more. Big Red Snapper from Tarpon Dock Seafood, and that winner is going to be that is going to be Mike Rowe. We got 2 boys winning today, so girls, y'all got to get fired up about it. All right, we're going to take our final break, come back with our famous Friday fishing forecast. Okay, welcome back to the famous Friday fishing report. We're looking at, let's talk about freshwater first. Freshwater has been really good this week. The brim bite has been good on the river system and the ponds, and the bass fishing has been good. I've seen some really good bass fish. Some bass, the fishermen have sent in some good pictures. It's been really good. Let's jump quickly to scallops. I want to sort of wrap up that report as we get into Labor Day because I know a lot of y'all are going scalloping. I will repeat what I said yesterday. About 80% of the folks are not getting the limits. They're just finding a few. After Labor Day, it's going to be 90%. This just goes on all my years doing it and talking to people on almost a daily basis. I will say this now. We had Travis call me last night. I asked him about that closed area that's sort of protected for the spawning scallop and all, which I think is a great idea. You know, we do that with grouper and other places we close off for the species to spawn and regenerate. That area, I haven't found it yet, but I want to know the size of it. He called me back last night. That size is in the southeastern part of St. Joe Bay. So it's going to be right in this area here. But he said it's only about 100 by 100. It's right here in this area here. It says well marked, got buoys out there and everything. So make sure you don't get in there. And I told him next year what I want to do. I've already made plans for next year. Isn't it amazing how we make plans for next year? Here's Black's Island. So when I say south, southeast, it's going to be south, right in this area here. I'm going, even this year, there were some small ones, and I just always throw them back and leave them in the grass. Next year, I'm going to take those small ones and put in my pocket, and then at the end of my scalloping trip, go over that closed area and just throw them in the closed area. Because what has happened, I got some reports of people coming in a week after I did, and they said they found a lot of scallops, but they were all small. Those are the ones all of us threw back, so it's interesting as far as that. But anyway, let's talk about the hot color, get back to fishing. The hot color, I've seen some postings on it this week in this water for redfish and all and for trout, is a hot purple. Okay, and a lot of lures now coming out with a lot of purple on it, really hot neon looking purple. So keep that in mind if you want to try something different color in this kind of water, the hot purple color. The near shore bite has been really good this week with kings. Been some nice kings caught off the pier. And really good pier fishing has been this week. A lot of catfish have been caught, some whiting, and not many pompano, but the king bite's been really strong. Also, remember last week, 97-pound wahoo. There's some big wahoo out there, but now they were not really close to shore. They were over 40 miles, and some of y'all ask about the guy that was injured. I promise you I'd find a report on it. He was okay. He got treated at a hospital. There was a puncture wound, but he's okay and doing okay. But it was just one of those things you always have to be careful with gaffs and fish biting, anything with something on that deck. You got to be aware of that. They've got sharp teeth. Okay, some other things I wrote down, the bridge fishing over here, in the East Point, some nice drum was caught this week over here in East Point. And let me see, y'all know where the bridge I'm talking about, okay? It goes out to St. George Island here, okay, there's right here in the center of the screen. Okay, they're catching, now I've talked about this bridge before, but a lot of drum have been caught off of it, some really. Okay, this area, here's the St. George Island Bridge, and here's the old bridge right here. Been some really nice black drum caught off of there this past week. So that is that time of the year. Now we did get to go on a gator hunt. I have some video. We went on a gator hunt. We went out to Scipio Creek over here. We actually saw the gators. I don't want to scare y'all or anything. A lot of the big gators we saw were right along this area around the civilization, what they called it, because you stop and think a lot of the bait's been, a lot of fish, thrown in the water, dropped in the water. So some of the big gators were there, and then we went to St. Mark's and St. Mark must have really made an impression when he came through, because he's got all kind of places named after him. But the St. Mark's area we hit good. But anyway, we'll have some video on that next week. On Labor Day, we'll have some good video, and then on Tuesday morning, some excellent video too. So keep that in mind for next week. Okay, if you're going to fish this week, red fishing throughout St. Joe Bay, this is last weekend trying to catch that tagged redfish for CCA. If you want to win that GMC truck or 2 or 3 of those boats right there, I'm going to try to give it a shot. And I think I know where it is. St. Joe Bay's got them, Apalachicola Bay's got them, Choctawhatchee Bay still has supposedly four tagged redfish in them. The dock fishing will be good. There's going to be a lot of people now at the jetties. A lot of people going to be fishing the jetties. And like Travis said, know the limits and know what you're doing there. And if you see people with, crabs with eggs on them, tell them that's a female. It's against the law to keep them, and it's also not ethical to keep them anyway. So try to encourage people to throw those back. Anything with eggs on them, okay, eggs in them and on them. Okay, and also keep in mind the area right back in here, going to have a lot of boats in it, but it'll be good fishing early. If you get there early before the boats come in for Labor Day. And remember that Labor Day, Monday's going to be just a lot of people out. Sunday will be a lot of people out. So just keep in mind, try to stay safe and watch out. Watch out for the other person. If you're out there scalloping, this will be the last big weekend of a big crowd as far as scallopers. Just be aware and go slow in that area. And on the river system, be careful on those sandbars. A lot of people are going to be hanging around those sandbars on the Apalachicola River. I can promise you that. Got to wrap it up for today. We've had a wonderful time with y'all this week. Got some great pictures to show next week. And you have a great weekend. Be careful. Take someone else in the outdoors and enjoy the outdoors. And God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.